manufactured Trombe digital computer TDC 316. As the computer systems are required for computer systems required for launch operations have to be highly reliable with adequate software and operating system support, TDC 316 was not the team's choice. Hence, we made a detailed technical presentation to Dr. Kalam on the pros and cons of procurement of the PDP-11 system from abroad. He was very much convinced, but at that time, to import a computer system, we require special sanction from Department of Electronics, Government of India. And Professor Dhawan, Chairman ISRO, was not for import. And Dr. Kalam failed to convince Professor Dhawan. But Kalam had found his way out. In one of the meetings, when he presented the subject, Professor Dhawan knew that Kalam is very much convinced that we had to procure the system. So he made a way out. What Professor Dhawan told Dr. Kalam was, Kalam, as far as this topic is concerned, you have not talked to me anything and I don't know anything. That was the simple solution he told. That means Kalam has not consulted chairman and had gone ahead with the procurement. So Kalam went ahead and we had the PDP-11, and this shows his conviction and support for a subordinate if he had done his homework properly. See, a lot of examples I can give, but I will give one or two only for your information, how he was my boss. When you confront a problem, Dr. Kalam used to always be considerate with a human touch. One day when we were assembling the payload of a Centaur rocket, one of my colleagues, I don't know whether you know Mr. Narayana Murthy, he was acceptance testing a voltage regulator. In his anxiety to complete the work on time, Mr. Narayana Murthy had accidentally reversed the input connections and damaged the voltage regulator. He got very much depressed since this was the first test he was doing in a payload and was also afraid that he will get a flag from the bosses. He nervously reported the problem to Dr. Kalam. Dr. Kalam didn't fire him. He just smiled. Then he told him, so Murthy, you know how to damage a regulator. In future, you will not repeat it. This is the only statement he made. And it was like a prophecy, and Narayana Murthy never spoiled any other payload in his lifetime in ISRO. Dr. Kalam had always a hawkish eye on the quality and would never compromise on the same. He was always considerate to his subordinates in their welfare. He used to drop us near our homes at odd hours in the night after our work in the office, so also take care of our food requirements during late hour working. He was canny about every colleague. He used to find goodness in all of them and would extract from them the best even without their knowing so. I have several instances to recount, but shortage of time does not permit me. After he left ISRO, he used to associate us in the review programs of DRDO. He also used to visit us few days before every launch, share with us his experiences, review our work and provide his assessment. He also used to telephonically call and offer his best wishes for the launch before every major mission. In the event of any mission failure, he will keenly associate himself in the failure analysis. I remember he was deeply involved in the failure analysis of one of the launch vehicle missions when he was very busy in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. He had also a vision that ISRO's status should grow internationally. He was solidly behind ISRO in the Chandrayaan-1 mission. In fact, it was he who suggested India should ensure her presence in the moon by dropping our national tricolor so that India can claim her space prowess in the international arena. And so we had the successful moon impact probe. Now we can return to the topic of the session. Vision of India 2020, the blueprint presented by Dr. Kalam along with his colleague Y.S. Rajan to make India a vibrant, developed country. The motivation for this exotic work as described by Dr. Kalam himself, was that a 10-year-old girl who came up to him for his autograph during one of his talks. On inquiring her ambition, she replied to him that she would like to live in a developed India. So the book, hosting the ideas India 2020, a vision for the new millennium, was dedicated to her and millions of Indians who share her aspirations. This was first published in 1998. The focus of the vision is understanding India's developmental needs and actions required. A committee chaired by Dr. Kalam called TIFAC, that is Technology, Information, Forecasting and Assessment Council, with various subcommittees held in the whole Vision 2020 exercise. It was an integrated vision of Jawaharlal Nehru, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai and Dr. Homi Bhabha, which gave impetus to this work. The hard-earned experiences, failures and successes in ISRO was the catalyst. The only aim was directed to a common goal, a strong India, a developed India, and proceed India with the benefits available all over the country. This vision in relation to space technology has come true, especially in terms of reaching out to the people, providing communication through networks in remote areas, disaster warning systems, quick resource surveys to target groundwater, save our forest cover, and so on. And of course, in the areas of certain strategic strengths vital to India in the world, which respects only strength. A vision of a prosperous India without poverty, an India strong in trade and commerce, an India strong in many fields of science and technology, an India with innovative industry and with health and education for all, at the same time taking into consideration our system of governance and social and political compulsions. Based on elaborate exercise undertaken about 500 experts with unique experience in industry, laboratories and government administration, and also after studying several vision reports of India and other countries, Dr. Kalam and team firmly believed that India can reach the status of a developed country by 2020. To quote Dr. Kalam, a developed India by 2020 or even earlier is not a dream. It does not even be a mere aspiration in the minds of many Indians. It is a mission we can all take up and accomplish. Ignited young minds, we feel, are the powerful resources. This resource is mightier than any resource on earth, in the sky or under the sea. We must all work together to transform our developing India into a developed India, and revolution required for this effort must start in our minds. Dr. Kalam and the team had brought out concrete action plans in various areas of technology evolution, food, agriculture and processing, materials, chemicals, industries, on our biological wealth, manufacturing for the future, services as people's wealth, strategic industries, healthcare for all, and infrastructure development to realize the vision. It is also essential for creation of awareness that India has to become big and strong. Our job is to make a golden triangle of Punyatmas, Punyadhikaris and Punyanetas work countrywide so that lot of action can be initiated and promoted at grassroots level. Another golden triangle of industry, government and R&D institutions will set into motion technology-based business activity, employment, demand creation through policies which will help businesses and as a consequence wealth creation. Both central and state governments have to create an enabling environment to ensure law and order and to conduct activities of public good. Media plays an important role in modern society in molding public opinion. It is essential that the media also attempts a positive outlook in the developmental efforts rather than focusing only on negative, gory events or worrying developments. The role of our political system shall also be conducive to the effort to achieve the vision. The vision also brings brings out an integrated plan in the areas of agriculture and food processing, electric power, education and health, information technology and strategic sectors. In conclusion, Dr. Kalam says that when these missions are implemented with a national focus, they will result in actions which will shape the second vision of the nation. The necessary financial, managerial and human resources would flow from those whose minds are ignited, including those in the government and industrial sectors. We therefore have a dream. Our dream is that both our Houses of Parliament would adopt a resolution for the second vision of the nation. India will transform into a developed nation before the year 2020. 1 billion people are our resource for this national transformation. Let the young minds blossom, full of thoughts, the thoughts of prosperity. 16 years later, after submission of the first blueprint, Dr. Kalam and team wanted to take stock of what we have achieved and what is ahead. In many ways, India's growth story in the 21st century has been hamstrung by missed opportunities and slowdowns in project execution, but it has also been marked by new opportunities and emerging technologies that make faster and more inclusive growth viable. A renewed policy focus is now needed for agriculture, manufacturing, education, healthcare and infrastructure. Alongside national security and knowledge economy are same of the other vital areas which we need to build on as we look beyond 2020. A blueprint for our future development has been brought out by Dr. Kalam in the form of a book, Beyond 2020, a vision for tomorrow's India. Having presented vision of Dr. Kalam, what is relevant today are a few attributes which are to be acquired by every citizen as dreamt by Dr. Kalam. Dream. Always think big. You have to dream before your dreams can come true. Great dreams of great dreamers are always transcendent. To succeed in your mission, you must have single-minded devotion to your goal. And if a country is to be corruption-free and become nation of beautiful minds, there are three key societal members who can make the difference. They are the father, the mother and the teacher. Over and above this, we require a national discipline, a culture where we value teamwork, creativity, dedication and resourcefulness and despise egos. We have to have respect for others, at the same time develop habits of talking less and more listening to others. As dreamt by Dr. Kalam, the time for change is now. The alternative is clear and dire. If we continue in the present mode, others in the world will overtake us. Poverty and unemployment will increase, further leading to an implosion in our society. But if we take the change, we can make real progress, from poverty to prosperity, from stagnation to speedy growth. India can still make it to the list of developed nations within a decade. We have to meticulously follow the action plan laid by Dr. Kalam for that transformation. Let us all rededicate ourselves once again to realize this dream of our great visionary and contribute with all our might, with tan, man and dhan, to make India a developed nation in the nearest future. I would like to conclude my talk by borrowing the well-known lines of H.W. Longfellow. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our life sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. Let us not allow the footprints of Dr. Kalam fade into the dustbin of history. Let us follow his footsteps, carry forward his legacy, his dream of a developed India in the nearest future. Jai Hind.
I am proud to stand in this dais and to present on the day of our respectful President, former President, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on his birthday. And representing young Indians to give you on a short interactive session. Specifically, it is an interactive session. You can come up at any time and ask me any questions which I am presenting in this presentation. For that, I would like to be more interactive with the students here. So, entrepreneurial growth through the associating with industrial bodies. That is a topic I am covering. Initially, this presentation will start with the what, why I, and how you can grow with, and how I am growing with the entrepreneurial in the entrepreneurial scenario of my life. What we say is the basic need of a startup entrepreneur is to get a good market for his product or his service or whatever, any technology or any specific thing, what you are going to bring in. So you need a market on this point. The best means to develop is to develop a good networking and is to associate with a strong industrial bodies. So that is entrepreneurial growth through associating with industrial bodies. So what does we do? We means the Young Indians is an associate or the youth wing of Confederation of Indian Industries, is an integral part of Confederation of Indian Industry. YI, the Young Indian, is a non-governmental, not-for-profit, industry-led and industry-managed organization playing a proactive role in India's development axis. We Young Indians is able to